Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elyse Andrews and I make new videos every Tuesday talking about my post-grad stresses, successes, and creative endeavors. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you an update on my Spanish learning journey that I've been on. I made a video a few months back, you should check it out, about my beginnings and kind of my plans for practicing Spanish again over the next 6 months. And I'm at about the 3-month mark right now, so I thought I would film an update video to let you know how it's been going, if I recommend how I've been learning, and kind of some resources I've found along the way. So this video is going to be divided into several different parts where you can see down in the description, or I guess along the screen down below, kind of the timestamps for everything. But the first part is going to be going over my background, and then I'm going to get into kind of my review of this process so far, how I've liked it, how it's gone, and then after that I will be talking about some advice, and then after that I will talk about some of my favorite resources that I have discovered over the past few months. So a little bit about me and my background. I studied Spanish in college. It was one of my majors, and I've been learning it all of my life as well, and I just really enjoy it. I really love learning it. It's so much fun. It's a great language. And I also studied abroad in Madrid last summer, so I've had a fun experience within academics learning Spanish, but now I have graduated from college and I'm trying to find ways to maintain my language and not lose it and really keep developing it. In terms of my level, I would say that I am at an advanced intermediate level, so I'm intermediate but advanced, or kind of peeking into the advanced level a little bit. If you want to know more about me and my experience and my past with Spanish, you can check out my other video that I mentioned before. So my plan is to spend 6 months doing 5 different activities each week to practice Spanish and keep it fresh in my mind, and kind of have different types of activities to work different parts of my brain and different facets of my Spanish abilities. I go through every week and I do 1 lesson of grammar from this textbook that I'll put on the screen. I also do 30 minutes of listening every week. I try to do my Anki flashcards, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but I do flashcards about at least 4 times a week, but I end up doing it pretty much every day. I also will translate a song from Spanish into English, and I will also read 3 news articles in Spanish every week, and from there I pull out my vocab for my flashcards. I also don't really let myself work ahead or backwards, and I input all of my information and what I've done for the week into this chart that I have here. It's kind of more of a log for me instead of a to-do list, because I really want to make sure each week I am doing these 5 things and not kind of working ahead or working backwards in case I miss some things from a previous week. It doesn't really matter to me. What matters the most is that I am consistently doing each of these 5 things pretty much every week. So how has it gone? I'd say it's gone really well. I've really enjoyed being a student again since I've graduated. I graduated a few months ago, and it's been quite a while since I have had to take classes or do any kind of work that's kind of similar to this. I've just been making a lot of art and YouTube videos, but I've really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would say that I am completely fluent, amazing, new woman kind of thing. I'm not, but I think about Spanish a lot more and it finds its way into my everyday life. So in terms of my consistency, I've been consistent and studied something for every week for the past like 13, 14 weeks. I don't know when it will be, whenever you'll see this video, but from here it's the 13 weeks, and I've been consistent with that. In terms of like keeping up with each task every week, there's usually maybe like 1 that I don't get accomplished. In terms of difficulty, it's really not been that difficult for me. Sometimes if my boyfriend is in town, or if I am going like to a lake house or something with my family, it's been difficult for me to keep up with everything because I have my home base here with all of my documents and all my resources and supplies. And also, like, I don't want to really study a lot when I'm on vacation. So that has been a bit of an issue, but overall, again, I'm very proud at how consistently I've been working on Spanish each week. It's a part of every week. Also, in terms of difficulty, I have to say that I have been, or at least earlier on, I was a little more stressed about not having all of the grammar that I've been reading and reviewing like kind of really stick in my head, but I've just had to learn to let it go. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the advice section of this video, but it's just important to know that learning a language in general is a very long, ongoing process, and you can't expect for grammar to stick whenever you review it and you learn it. Something new will click at a different time, and you can't really expect it. So also, if you're wondering if I have improved my Spanish, I would say that I have. Again, it's not the most noticeable thing in the world, but I just think the fact that having Spanish be in my brain, I'm thinking about it, I'm working with it pretty much every day, I think that's really valuable and really a step up from where I was in my second semester of senior year. After studying abroad in Spain between my junior and senior years, I basically was able to finish my Spanish degree before my senior year, I think. And so it had been a long time without actually practicing Spanish. So definitely in a better place now. To quantify things though, if you're kind of wanting some numbers of how I've progressed, I've added about 400 new words to my vocabulary, which is really exciting. Anki is such a good resource for drilling that information into your head. I've also done about 6 hours of listening in Spanish. I've read about 33 articles by the time I'm making this video. So that's really cool. But it's also important for me kind of to think about like where I would be if I did not do all of this over the past 3 months. Like I wouldn't have had 400 words added to my vocabulary. I wouldn't have had those 33 articles read and kind of that experience in my brain. So it's really nice to think about it in that way. And also I've just learned that language learning is a gradual process. I mean, I've known this for a long time, but it's kind of really starting to make sense. What do the next 13 or so weeks look like? I am planning on flipping my Anki flashcards the other way around because I've been doing it so I see the Spanish word, I think, and I need to give an English definition, or maybe it's the other way. Anyway, it's really good to kind of cycle between the Spanish word or the English word definition. So I'm going to do that. I think that I'm going to just continue with how it's been going so far. This has been a really great system for me, so I'm going to keep doing that. I also think at the end, I have like an extra week before the new year, 2021, looking forward to that. But I am going to use that week to really review a lot right after Christmas and go over my vocab that was really important and the grammar and kind of write out notes and also go through and fill in some of the gaps in my chart that I have saved for the end. Maybe I'll do some of that in January as well. And also, you know, this is kind of like thinking way beyond now, but I'm thinking in the next year, I'm probably going to continue doing something that looks like this, and I'm going to want to do it in a way that kind of uses more like writing, and where I'm conjugating verbs, making sentences, kind of understanding verbs and other words in context, and kind of gaining a better understanding of this vocabulary that I'm learning and just to be able to use it. So for my advice, I would say curiosity and consistency are the two most important things with my Spanish learning practice. In terms of curiosity, I was just thinking about this as if you are writing out a verb that you just saw from an article and you just wanted to look up the definition of it, if it doesn't make sense, like why it's conjugated in that specific way, and you really want to know, like, why is it conjugated so strangely and like not in line with other things, other ways you would normally conjugate it, then go look it up and look into it and research why it is that way. But if you're doing the same thing, you're writing down the verb and you're like, that's weird that it's conjugated that way, but you don't really have time or you don't feel like researching it right then, don't do it. I've had a lot of success, I think, from following my personal curiosity with language learning. I just really think that if you keep doing this and you keep being curious and learning and engaging with Spanish and words and ideas that interest you, you will be kind of guided down a path that will eventually lead you to success and proficiency and fluency. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I think that's probably the best way to go. In terms of consistency, I would recommend setting aside time each week to do things. I work really well in units kind of weeks. So if that works for you, that's great. If you'd rather kind of base it off of 2 weeks or a half a week or a month or something, that's great. Just figure out which units kind of work out for you and be consistent with it. Don't overwhelm yourself too much. Make it easy for yourself. Choose activities and tasks that you would like to do. Like all of these tasks, like, you know, I don't always get to all of them in a week, but they're all things I don't mind doing and all things that I would like to do. If you're forming out your own kind of schedule or plan, I would say to figure out what you can commit to, set your time frame, make a chart to track your progress, gather your resources, and just go from there. Now we're getting into the resources that I have picked up along the way that have been really useful for me in my language learning adventure. Number one favorite resource I have discovered since making this original video a few months ago, the How to Spanish podcast is amazing. I love them. I want to support them on Patreon. I'm going to do that really soon. I use them for my listening activities, and their podcasts are about 20 to 30 minutes, and they talk about topics that are related to usually just like Mexican culture, and I really like it. I've learned a lot, and they're just very kind and very smart. I really enjoy it, and I think you should check it out and subscribe to them. I think they're amazing. I also listen to other channels sometimes. I also like Super Holly because she has some interesting story times. I've also used Butterfly Spanish, and I think Why Not Spanish is the other channel. I also listen to TED en Español, which is a podcast. It's just TED Talks that are in Spanish, and also Radio Ambulante, which is, I believe, by NPR. So you should check those out as well. The grammar textbook that I use is great. I have no complaints about it other than, yeah, I don't really have any actual complaints. Like, there are certain topics I'd like them to cover, but I've kind of identified those topics and I can just kind of look into them myself. So it's great. Check it out. I just Googled the name of the textbook and PDF, so you can find it. And then as for like music and listening to songs and translating songs, which is what I like to do, I use Lyrics Genius a lot of the time, which has been very helpful for understanding more of the context of the song. And it's nice to read like notes that people have made about the song. And oftentimes songs in Spanish will have Genius translations into English, and so I can kind of check my work there. As for musical artists, if you're looking for some to learn from, to listen to translate songs from, my favorite artist is Juanes. I love him. I'm wearing his merch right now, but I think he's great. I think his songs are really wonderful for translating, and they have a lot of really useful vocab in them. And that was one of the first songs that I learned, and I did this translating exercise on, was Volverte Ver, which is one of his biggest songs, if not, no, it's not his biggest necessarily, but it is one of his biggest songs. So anyway, I love him. He's amazing. And then here's just a list of some other ones that I really like that you can check out. No particular order. They're just kind of on my Spotify liked playlist. I like Jesse and Joy a lot. Rosalia, Jimenez Sariñana, Ventino, Selena, Bomba Estéreo, Shakira, Maluma, Enrique Iglesias, Nicky Jam, Bad Bunny, J Balvin, Sebastián Yatra, La Quinta Estación, and I think that's pretty much it. There are a bunch more, but I hope that these can be a good starting point for you if you've been trying to figure out some artists to listen to. So there you go. And I use Spanish Dictionary for translations, and they've been great. So that's just the last little note. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, sticking around this whole time. I really appreciate you checking it out. I've had so much fun learning, practicing, working with Spanish again, and I'm so excited to continue on my path to eventual fluency. So yeah, again, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week for my next video, and this coming Saturday for my podcast, which is the Draw Pod. You should check it out. Thank you. Please like, please subscribe. Bye.